Okay, I'm live. Should I write something? Maybe I put a little note.
If somebody's there.
There's no one.
Can you see how many people there?
There's one. Hi! But it's also 5 minutes early. Hey! Welcome everyone. I'm just putting the playlist in if you didn't see it. So the playlist is Sweet as Yin 60 Minute with Nanna HSS in Spotify. I'll just see if this works. Okay, there you go. So, just like that. Home studio, right? Okay, let's just take our sweet time to begin with. Hey everyone. So the playlist I've put down as a comment. If you want music for this session, it's not necessary at all, but just if you feel like having some sweet mellowing tunes, then you can find them at my Spotify. In the meantime, find all the homemade props that you can. See if you can find a big pillow. I'm using some of our couch as a bolster. So see if you can get that. Also get at least one blanket. If you have very hard cement floors or something, maybe even put the blanket over your mat. And hey everyone, I can see there's 20 of you now. I'm so excited that you're here to practice with me. Feel free to say hi or send a little comment so we can see who's joining. AntwerpYoga peeps, I miss you all very much. Thank you for being here. Yeah, there's still a few minutes before we start, so take your time, gather your props, get a cup of tea, the yin yoga way, you know, and find the playlist if you want to. Hey Adrian! Hello! Yeah, I'll just tell a little bit about the sequence we will be doing today before we start. We'll be starting in a few minutes, and the element of this practice is water. I chose water because it's an element that, at least for me, feels very distant right now. It's easy it's easy to get into like stocked positions. Right now it's hard to find maybe that flow of life where we feel that things are flowing through us. Worries, anxieties get stuck in our bodies right now. Not just because we're not moving as much as we normally are, but probably also because we are worrying more and scared more than normal. It's not a normal situation we're in. So the element is water for today, and I will tell a little bit more about it throughout the class. You can listen if you want to, and you can turn up your music if you don't want it. To begin with, find a comfortable seat, and we will be starting with a little bit of stillness and with a little bit of breath focus. So whether you're sitting on your best IKEA blanket or your couch pillow, everything works. Just take whatever is near you. And music people, we will be starting the playlist all together, so we have the same timing. And now it's 5:30. Let's see, there's still coming a few people on. I see my mom is there from Denmark. Always nice. Okay, so for those of you that has the playlist ready, let's start that. Put your phones on silence otherwise. And let's start the playlist in 3, in 2, and in 1. Starting with opening and in our comfortable seat. So first of all, namaste. Thank you so much for showing up in these very special times. Showing up not just for yourself and for stillness, but also for practicing yoga with your studio, AntwerpYoga, for supporting this community. Whether you are a regular student there or you're visiting right now. Thank you for that. As we sit in our seat to begin with, let your hands relax down on your body wherever it feels natural, comfortable. And then let's tap in to the energy of softness. For the next hour, you don't have to do anything to be in this world. You can rest here and still be perfectly enough. So let's all together take a deep inhalation into that feeling of enoughness from the bottom chamber to the top. Sip a little more and out your mouth. Listening to the breath. In from the bottom chamber of your belly to the chest, to the top of the head, and open the lips out your mouth. Resting. Last time, deep inhalation in through the nose, out the mouth. Now continue the breath in and out the nose. And see if you can let there be an energy coming down over your face that relaxes your forehead, the space in between your eyebrows. Just letting all that be for a moment. Maybe you have an energy that even goes as deep into the eyelids and softens them, makes them a little heavier. An energy going down over the face. Like a pillowy, silky softness melting down over the facial muscles. Also feeling that mellowy, pillowy softness in the jaw, maybe creating some space between your teeth, the lips. And then letting all that soften down over the chest, the shoulders. Letting it all just mellow down into the floor. And notice if you can breathe more freely with the shoulders softened, the belly and the hips melted down towards the floor. Can you let the body be for a moment? And tap into abundance of love, of creativity that now gets to flow. All the pleasures, all of your magic. And for this practice, allow yourself to reach for something other than worries and anxieties. Reach for softness, for calmness, for pleasure. And with that, let's bring palms together in front of our hearts, gently pressing each hand into the other. Noticing how the right and the left side cannot be without the other. Just like softness and strength, yin and yang. If you showed up for any particular reason this late afternoon, then take a breath into that. If there's anything in particular you need or your inner child needs, breathe into that. Let that take up space. And now gently just rubbing the hands against one another, pressing the hands into the other, creating just a little bit of heat. And then release the hands, place them somewhere on your body where you feel the need for some heat, some comfort, some caretaking. Take a deep breath into your hands. And then exhale. Let's do it one more time. Palms together. A gentle but firm rub of the hands against one another. And when they feel just slightly warm, place them over your eyes. In your own little space, in the comfort of your home, gently let in some light. Slowly blink the eyes open and let the hands come down. All right. We will be doing a short breath pranayama exercise to really allow yourself to shut out the world a little bit and just dive in to this space of comfort. So just listen to begin with. I will show it and then we will do it together. So the breath exercise is called Brahmari. It's the sound of the humming bee. We breathe in and out through the nose. We do it by holding to our earlobes, so we shut out the sound of the world. One round goes like this. I inhale in my nose, holding on to my ears, and on the exhale I say like the bee. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out the nose with the sound of the bee. Now we take 5 rounds. Just follow your own perfect breath and say the sound as loud as you want to. Shut into your own little world. Let's start all together, closing eyes, holding on to the ears. Inhale. If you're done with your rounds of breath, just staying with a normal soft breathing. And before we move into the next posture, as everyone finishes their rounds, maybe give yourself a break to stretch out your legs or give yourself a little hug. Just any type of soothing movements that might make sense for you and your body at this stage. Give yourself about 5 times of breath. And then we'll slowly move into the next posture. I'm going to put my biggest bolster behind me. So whatever you have, just put that behind you, of a big pillow or more pillows. Put that behind you. And if you have a blanket, you might want to have that in your groin area, in the lower belly, just to create comfort and safety. If you have 2 blocks or big books or something like that, you can rest your knees, the outer edge of your knees, on top of the block, moving into butterfly posture, the reclined variation. So slowly from here you can start lying yourself down. You can lift the knees up a little bit and then letting yourself melt down. And then as you arrive down your back, you can let the knees drop to the side. Hands can rest on the belly or to the side or even overhead. If you find that it's too intense for your hips, then you can just stretch out the legs and let the upper body have the opening. And then as you Arrive in the reclined butterfly position, just letting the eyes close, the shoulders fall back, and the front of the body open. The meridians or the energy channels that we are working around for this practice is the kidney and the bladder meridians. It's these energy lines we are following. And they are both approximately from the toe to the top of the head, in the front of the body, and in the back of the body. By relaxing into these energy lanes, these meridians, we open up for connection. And we let the chi or the energy in the body flow more freely. Come home to safety, connection, and trust. Just letting yourself rest all the way back into this feeling of safety. Of softness. If you're feeling that the mind gets busy, then bring the attention back to your breath, to your intention, and come back to the body. Now taking final 3 rounds of deep, soothing breaths in this posture. And after your 3rd exhalation, just slowly start to stretch out your legs if they are not stretched out already. stretching the legs out, giving the hips a little bit of a break. And then just like coming out of Shavasana, we will roll on to our right hand side, slowly start bending in the legs, reaching left hand over the body to the floor and come to the side in almost a fetus-like position. And then from there, using your upper hand, the left one, to push you gently up towards seating. As you arrive in the seat, just taking your time to get there, we will move our way into a little forward fold. The blanket can come to your side. You can keep the knees bent if it feels more safe for you, and then take a little counter pose in a forward fold. If it feels better for you to stretch out the legs in Paschimottanasana, then feel free to do that and fold over the body. Just resting here in your counter pose to neutralize the body. Coming back to breath, back to intention. And again, feeling this soft energy flowing down over your body, like it's placing itself on your shoulders, on the eyes, creating space to let the breath flow like water through the body. Now gently from your forward fold, just walking hands back towards yourself if the legs were straight. And if your legs were bent, just gently rolling the spine up towards an upright position. If you have the need for any movements here, just give that to yourself. If you feel like pushing the chest a little forward or windshield wiping the legs, it's your practice. It's perfectly okay. And while you make yourself comfortable, I will show the next posture. We will be moving into dragonfly. So I'm moving the pillow I have behind me, and I'll invite you to do the same, and just move it to the long side of your mat. Make sure that whatever props you have, books or whatever it is, make sure that you place them on the same side as your pillow, so you can reach it. From there, we will turn ourselves so we're facing the pillow and all our props, with the legs wide out to the side. Dragonfly or Upavishta Konasana is our wide-legged forward fold. If you do have a blanket, you can fold it a few times, or a small pillow, and wiggle it a little bit under your your seat bones. Will help you to come forward. Now, to move into this posture, some of you will maybe find it more than enough to just have your pillow and give it a little hug and just rest the head forward. Maybe this is more than enough. If you do have a stack of books or something to place under that pillow, that is also an option to then place the bolster or your pillow on top of that, and maybe resting forearms, releasing the head, or even crawling all the way down if you have a bit more space. Choose whatever option that works for you, and then stick with that. Yin is not a push practice, it's a bit more of a pull practice. So be somewhere you find yourself comfortable. Staying there is perfectly fine. This is not a time for pushing. You can rest one ear to the pillow, and I will let you know when to switch to the other side. Again, just focusing on the breath and flowing the energy freely within your body. What happens if you let your guards down and the muscles get a break? Maybe notice if your tension is traveling around the body. Did it move to your face or to your shoulders? Is it possible to be soft from head till toe? If you have one ear to the pillow, then just slowly switch side to even out the neck. And always an option to come back to breath or to move a little bit out of the posture so you can breathe more freely. And slowly taking these final 3 deep rounds of breath in this posture, softening the last bit into the edge. Now after your final and third exhalation, if you're folded deeply forward, start with placing your hands to the floor and using the weight in the hands rather than in the hip to walking hands backwards and come up towards your seat. If you're hugging around your pillow, you can slowly release it and start as well stretching out your back. We will all together be moving our props away. Move it in front of you, so in front of your front leg, so you can always reach your props. Now from here, grabbing both hands on the inside of your knee, hands on the inside of your knee, leaning back and bending the elbows to gently bring heels and feet together. Keep a little bit of distance between the feet, but let the knees little knock in towards one another, maybe not all the way, but just halfway. Let them come in a little. And then wrap the arms around the knees. Soften the forehead down. And breathing into yourself. Can you soften all the way into your bones? Into the hip groin area itself. Breathing like a wave ever moving through you. From here, just slowly releasing the hands, lifting the back up, and then let your knees drop to the front of your mat, reaching with the hands at the top of your mat as well. And then just moving yourself back into the mat for a all fours position. You can be here for a little bit of movement, or if you need to rest all the way down to a child's pose. Hands can be in front or down your side. So just choosing what your body is calling for this counter position. deep breaths. Getting a little heavier into the floor. Connecting with what is below you. Now, whether you are in all fours or in child's pose, gently letting your hips sink a little deeper into the ankles and the heels, and then using your hands to come up to a seat on your shins. You're in child's pose, just using the hands to bring yourself back. And for a moment here, just placing a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. And feeling that breath moving through you into both hands, like a wave, up and down. Letting the lower belly soften, setting yourself free for a moment here. And then gently can release the hands after your last exhalation and come back towards all fours. If you do have a little sensitive knees, go ahead and take your blanket and place that under your knees. Just if you have sensitive knees, yeah? Might not be all of us. From there, placing knees on the floor and stepping your right foot on the outside of your right hand. From here, we move into dragon lunge. Now you can stay here with the hands supporting into floor. Let the hip sink forward. If you don't have space at all, you can let the front foot come a little bit out to the side of your mat. Now, some of you will maybe have a little more space in the hip, and you will want to sort of melt all the way down and hug your pillow. If that seems too far away, no worries. Maybe you have your blocks or your books, and you can place your hands on these or forearms on knees. Choosing either option and diving in. Now I know this is an intense one, the hip. But what happens if you explore it a little bit? Sinking the hip forward, breathing into lower belly. We're not here for as long as the others, so see if you can explore it. seeing if you find that edge in the body where you can't physically move past. Meet that edge in your body and take your final 3 deep rounds of breaths, softening. 2 more breaths. And then the last breath. Now slowly and carefully with this one, no matter what you have as props, place your hands on the floor, remove your pillow if you have it in front, and slowly start to push the hip a little bit backwards, gently stretching the front leg a little bit. Moving the hip back, stretching front leg a little bit. Maybe you stretch it all the way and stay there for a few breaths. Or you move just a little bit side to side. And when it starts to feel okay to move again, then just placing both hands on the inside of your front leg and then sliding softly that front foot back towards the other. And again, option to stay in all 4s for movement or move the hip back for a counter pose in child's pose. Letting the body come back to rest. Telling yourself and the body that everything is okay. Now you can stay in your counter pose for a few more breaths. But when you feel ready to move in to the other side of the posture, you can again start making your way towards all 4s if you were away. And then bringing the opposite foot, the left leg, to the outside of the left hand. Letting the hip sink forward is what makes the opening on the front leg, and it actually makes the gravity work for you. So see, even though this posture is intense, if you can let that hip sink forward and then using your hands or your pillow, whatever you have underneath you, to stop you from going too far. So using a few breaths to set yourself up. And then move back into this zone where only your breath and your body exists. Closing down the eyes and meeting yourself in softness, in this front body opener. If it feels too intense and you need a focal point, then you can press your thumbs to the area in between the eyebrows, just gently. And feel like a circular motion of the energy softening into the third eye. Softening into the wisdom that you know you are okay. And that you can breathe. And that whatever this posture is bringing up for you is maybe what you need to let go of for a bit. Last 3 rounds of breath on this side. Now moving out of the posture in the same soft way as before, placing hands off your props and walking them a little closer to the hip so you get to stretch out that front knee. You don't have to stretch it all the way as in a half split. If you like, you can. But you can also just keep this soft bend. Move the hip a little side to side. And then eventually, just like earlier, you can slide that front foot back to meet the other, and either staying in all fours, child's pose, or even option to take a restorative kind of down dog if you need to stretch out your legs. So just doing for the next 5 breaths or so what your body is in need of, responding to that. So nothing gets stuck within you. Keep it flowing, ever moving within. Now from wherever you are, let's meet like earlier with the knees on the floor, sitting on the shins for last 3 seated breaths all together before Shavasana. Placing one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. 3 deep breaths in the nose, out the mouth. Fluidity in, out. Last one. Out. Now letting the hip move to one side of your heels from your seat. If you have the blanket under the legs, move it and stretch the legs out in front of you. Before we go to lying down completely, if you are in need in your body for another forward fold, just to come fully relaxing over your body. Then there's option to take about 10 breaths. Your final counter pose. If your body is just in need of Shavasana, then just start setting yourself up. Your body, your practice. Whether you are already in Shavasana or in this final forward fold, just start breathing into the body as if you were about to go to sleep, preparing the body for rest. Preparing the body for settling the practice into the body. And as you're all arriving in Shavasana, feeling like there's a blanket folding down over your entire body, over the face that softens, that area in between the eyebrows, the forehead. Like you just get to melt into the floor, setting all those waves of energy, of chi, setting those free within your body by implementing this softness. Slowly start deepening your breath. Coming back to the body through the breath. Taking a deep inhale in through the nose, all the way in, and then exhale with sound out your mouth. Gently waking the body up, maybe placing again a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly. Taking deep breaths into yourself. And maybe you raise your hands over your head for a big body stretch. Or you give yourself a hug and cuddling the knees into the chest. Just giving yourself whatever your body needs to wake up in the softest way possible. Breathing into yourself, staying conscious of the way that you are moving. And then gently start making your way onto the side in fetus position. And taking all the time you need to come to your seat with your eyes closed. Taking all the time you need and eventually coming to your seat at the top of your mat. And as you arrive there, just closing eyes down, palms together in front of your heart. Gently pressing palms together, lifting your thumbs up to the spot in between your eyebrows, gently pressing in. May I have kind and loving thoughts about myself as well as others. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Moving the thumbs down in front of your mouth. May I speak loving and healing words to and about myself as well as others. Deep breath in here. Exhale it out. And finally, moving the hands down in front of the heart. Giving yourself any final thank yous. Breathing into what you're taking home in your heart. Or giving yourself what you might feel in need of in this moment. Taking these final few breaths just for you. And then as we've taken care of ourselves, We'll bow our head down to our hands, direct energy out to one another, thanking each other for showing up, for doing this stillness practice in these times of chaos. Thank you so much. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel your love, and I see that there's hearts popping up. That's wonderful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them on here or send me a message directly. If you wish more classes, different classes, anything, we are here for you. I am here for you. AntwerpYoga is there for you. So reach out if you need it. We would love to hear from you. And just thank you. Thank you so, so much. It's important work that you're doing right now. Virtual hugs from me. Namaste. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Stay in the body for a little bit. It's a good place to be. Thank you. I'll end now. Please know that you can send me messages and send AntwerpYoga messages regarding new classes or anything. Namaste. Namaste, Karen. Thank you.